What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest issue of Sibling Rival-Read, the comic book club show that me and my sister do once a week, where we pick a comic book, we read it,
And we judge it.
and we judge the heck out of it. We judge it so hard. Oh my God. And then at the end of each month, we sit down and kind of discuss something nerdy related. And we kind of came up with a new format for these in between episodes where we announce the books that we're going to be reading uh, for the next month.
We set up an arena.
We do. Yes, we do. So, first off, let's get started with the fact that last month we did not have a wheel ready to see what happened to Anna since she picked the stinkers last month. So,
It's fine. I was closer to winning than you were this month.
no, we were pretty close
Nope.
together. Yes, we were. But we'll get to it. First off, Anna, go ahead and roll that wheel.
You know, one day I want us to have like a real wheel. So that way it's not a computer.
Oh.
Look, I'm just happy it's not Ice Bucket. I'm not going to do well with Ice Bucket.
Oh, well, hot sauce shot. That's like the exact opposite of ice bucket.
It is the exact, but I don't do well with spicy.
That means by this weekend we gotta get some hot sauce. Do we stream it? Or do we just record it? That's the real question. Some of these we're not going to be able to stream. Like going out and like the ice bucket challenge we're not doing in here.
Oh, thanks. I mean, as long as the Ice Bucket challenge is, well, I don't really care because now it's not me.
Yep.
So go ahead, brother.
Well, we'll get there. Well, this was to make up for the fact that we didn't have a wheel ready for you last month.
Fine. Then my next question is it a flight of hot sauces or is it a hot sauce shot?
Probably just a single hot. I mean, it says shots. So
You also have to think, Ben, what do you want in your pantry?
that's true. So a single shot. Single shot of hot sauce. That's what we're going to be doing for Anna since of her books last month, which were
House of M.
nope, last
Oh,
month.
last month. Oh, Robin Wars.
Robin Wars. That's right. That was the
And
stinker. And Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yep. Which, just to be fair, you gave Pokemon the low score.
Pokemon the low score. But also to be fair, I couldn't think of one, so I stole from your list.
This is true, and this is definitely something that you did do. Whereas this month, what? Where did my Zatanna notes go? Ruh-roh. Oh no.
Zatanna didn't get poor scores.
No, Zatanna did actually pretty well. I think. Oh no.
Where you fumbled was both of us gave
Both of us gave.
yours were like okay scores.
Yeah.
And then mine were just really good this month.
Well, and to be fair, you picked one that you had read before.
I did.
And the second one, you kind of already knew you were going to rate the art because you kind of saw it already.
Right.
Just kind of.
I saw it as much as you see comic book page previews on Comixology, which is only 3 pages.
Fine.
I will say though that the description of it was like award-winning art. So
I think both of us scored Zatanna overall 8.
I rely on you.
Yeah, I know. I should have been more prepared. Does that sound about right though?
7 or 8, yeah.
Okay.
Because both of us.
No, you know
like
what? You gave it one lower than me, so you probably gave it a 7.
Okay.
Because you didn't like how the story was laid out.
No.
Yeah, that was okay. We'll be more organized next month, I swear. But let's do a quick recap. So, the Marvel book of the month. Why?
I was wondering if I could still do
Oh
it.
my God! How?
I'm really, I really was.
What the hell?
I had hair tie. I'm so.
I hate you.
I really didn't think it would hurt. Mm. Mm.
Started with House of M. That really hurt.
My hair tie
I'm
is like
gonna have a
3
mark. Oh my God. People, look, no, I'm not gonna do it to you because I'm not an asshole.
anymore.
Well, not on camera. Look at this thing. She just go to hell.
Oh, I'm crying. I wasn't expecting that.
Great. For our audiobook listeners, Anna here, our audiobook listeners,
Podcast?
our podcast listeners, so tired.
Oh man, that was funny.
Our podcast listeners, Anna here just took a set of 3 hair ties.
It's one hair tie. It's just made out of 3 elastics. There's
A set of 3 hair ties, and she freaking pulled it and elastic to me in the shoulder.
I didn't know I was gonna do it, but it was funny.
You know what? Remember that time Mom spit water all over you?
I do, because that was rather recent.
You deserved it. So House of M, we started with Marvel this month, really strong, with a favorite comic book of both of ours.
Yeah.
You a little more than me, because you actually go back and reread it quite regularly.
Do you reread stuff?
I do. I there's actually quite a few things that I'll go back and reread.
I reread like I rewatch. So
That's reasonable, and I mean, it is a good book to go back to, and I know that when it comes to you recommending comic books to your friends and things like that, that you do frequently recommend House of M. So going back and reading it again so you can talk about it with, friends
yeah.
makes sense to me. But yeah, and that was a really, really strong start because I think it's a great story. Plus we're, hot on the heels of WandaVision this month.
Yeah. Well, really quick, another reason why it's so good is because you meet some characters.
You do. It is a great introduction, so you can kind of see the bare bones personality of a lot of different heroes.
That's cold tea.
That's cold tea.
Cold tea.
Again, you deserve it. Everything bad that happens to you tonight, you deserve. We then went to my first book, which I was really excited to read, and I'm really glad we did read it.
Mhm.
I was not expecting. How many pages was it actually?
It was
Like
6.
500, 600? It was a long book. It was a long book. Kind of similar to Robin Wars. Robin Wars was 500. Mine was like
700.
Yeah,
Yours
okay.
was pretty much 700 pages.
yeah. But it was really great, and it was a good introduction to a new hero that neither of us had read before. I mean, like as a standalone. Yeah, like we've seen Zatanna in Justice League things, in Batman things, in Bombshells, things like that, and of course, like any of the animated shows that
we watch.
Yeah. So one of those characters that kind of always struck us as interesting, but couldn't really figure out where to read. And after doing some research, I'm glad that I found Paul Dini's book because I still think it was great, and a good intro to a character that you might be interested in.
Yeah.
As a whole, I would still put it in from what I've read so far, it would probably still sit in my like top 10, like if you want to get into comic books book.
Yeah, the more I'm sitting here, because we spent today figuring out which ones we want to read for this next month, the more
Uh-huh.
I'm sitting here and thinking about it, I wonder if all of the issues were actually in order.
I think they were in order.
Because, there are some, like, options that I was looking into where it was like such and such artist or such and such story
Uh-huh.
or writer of this character, but they were taken out of order because they didn't write the entire series.
Right.
So I'm almost like, I wonder if where I was kind of missing it was just because they weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'm thinking it's
I was
more
just
along the lines of like what Robin War was, in that it had more than just the Paul Dini Zatanna
Mhm.
books, and had some of the like little one shots that other authors did at the same time,
Okay.
inserted in between. Because like the little one shots that would happen in between, they were like legitimate one shot, like one issue, one story,
Yeah.
things. Whereas there were like I forget his name now, the villain that we liked so much. Oh, I don't know why I'm asking you. You don't remember names. Um,
But it
but
was
the demon guy, the guy who took all the kids' souls. Um, oh gosh,
it's gonna bother me.
yeah, it's gonna bother me too. But regardless, that had a multi-issue arc that was kind of broken up by random one-shots.
Yes.
So I think that's still ended up being interesting, but I think that's essentially what ended up happening with,
Robin Wars.
yeah. And I almost
That
wonder if there was is a version of that collected edition that is broken up a little, like it like doesn't have all of those extras in it. Oh, see. Just so everyone knows, Anna is now staying with us at our place, and she brought her corgi with her. And our cat, not a big fan of the corgi, and
my corgi is a little scaredy cat.
they just threw down like what, an hour and a half ago.
I mean, your cat threw down. My dog cried,
Yeah, it was.
wailed even.
I I thought that her dog was being a jerk to my cat, and her dog likes to scream when it's picked up.
Yeah.
So I assumed that when I turned the corner and see Anna trying to pick up her dog after he was screaming bloody murder, that the dog was screaming bloody murder because Anna was trying to pick him up. No, what in fact happened was my cat came running around the corner and started, I guess,
Like,
swatting at him. Like,
oh, your cat puffed up, ran at him, and yeah. I'm just glad that I saw it this time instead of just hearing it, because the first time that happened, none of us saw it, and all of a sudden we turn around seeing my dog wailing, coming at me, and the cat just turns around the corner.
it was a blood curdling scream
It
too.
was.
God, that was great. Um, and then from Zatanna, we went to my other pick, which was Vox Machina Origins Volume 1,
What did
which,
this?
uh, upon my second reading of it, I was a lot more critical of it.
But
Um,
get it?
yeah.
Because Critical Role.
Ayo.
Funny.
Um, but yeah, so but I think it was kind of an eye opener to me, um, as well. Like how easy it is to get like jaded by the fact that you know a lot about a world going into a book,
Hmm.
and how easy it is to say, "Oh yeah, it's a great comic," and then someone else reading it's like, "I didn't understand a damn thing that was going on." Because yeah, at the end of the day, it's like I know what happens at the end of that story, so it was a little easier for me to digest on the first read through, and then the second read through, I was able to really kind of take off my rose-tinted glasses
And you were able to skim over parts because you're like, yeah, I've read this.
yeah, all that helps.
I
too.
did not.
So that one did not score as well for me.
It didn't score well for either one of us.
No, I know.
Felt so bad. And I would like to say though, right after or very closely after we critiqued that one or scored that one, you picked me up from Florida, and we listened to some Critical Role.
We
so
did.
like we don't hate Critical Role.
No, absolutely not. And we had some very specific things that we picked out about it, and I feel like
that was comic book related, not storyline related.
Exactly. The story was good, just might not have been told in a comic booky way. So while enjoyable if you're a Critical Role fan, if you're trying to get into comic books, might not be the book that you go for. And then our final book of the month was Anna's pick, the manga that had to have been one of. It was a very strong. Oh gosh, a very strong manga pick in general. That's our second manga. It is going to be a hard task to go and find something that is as good as that was.
Yeah, I mean that one was our highest. Was that our highest scored book so far?
No, because House of M was the same.
Which is great this week or this month.
So it is. It was really good, and I think it's going to be a good basis for what we judge other manga on.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and I still really want to read the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep meaning to go into Second and Charles, and
yeah, but I want to go.
Okay. Oh, we can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, we can. Even if it's just a look, I don't care.
Yeah. So yeah, we had while two of the books that I read this month are books that I've read before. I'm really happy with the books that we chose. I enjoyed each of them for different reasons. Even the Vox Machina book I enjoyed for the express reason of just being able to find a way, that I can be a little more critical of things that I love.
Yeah.
So let's get down to the scores. So House of M, Anna gave it a 9 overall, and I gave it a 10 overall.
The only reason I didn't give it a 10 was because of another score. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, because it was the art score, right?
Yeah.
Vox Machina, I'm sorry, Zatanna, I gave an 8. I believe Anna gave it a 7. We'll go back and look. Regardless, I know that Anna won February, so I'm not really too worried about what the actual score is. But I believe, looking back, that I think that's what we rated it. It might have been a 7 on my part and a 6 on yours. I know you rated it 1 point lower than I rated it. That is what I remember.
Because I'm the mean one.
Yeah, and your reasoning for it was because it ended in a
I had a lot of reasons. No.
That was one of your story reasons. That was one of my
story reasons, and I worded it poorly, and then
Yes,
you gave me shit for it, so I kept rewording it.
And I'm still giving you shit for it.
But I found a way to say it, and you were like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Anna rated it lower because it made her want to read more.
That's not it
either! And then Vox Machina, both Anna and I we're pretty much in agreement for the most part. Anna rated the art a little higher than I did. Well, I mean, she actually rated both things a little higher than I did. She was a point higher in each regard, where I was a little more critical. But we both rated it overall a 6.
You keep saying the pun.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's just funny.
So this currently leaves. Oh, I didn't actually put all the scores together. So Anna, Ben. So Anna got a 9, a 10. Ben's gotten a 6, a 6, an 8, and a 7. And then Anna, for Witch Hat Atelier, uh, I gave it
Oh,
a
I see.
I gave it a 9. No, you gave it a 10. I gave the book a 9. Mainly because to me the story wasn't
As
like
original.
as original, yeah. I still gave the story a 9 out of 10. Because while the story was not super original, it was told very well. And I gave the art a 10 because the art was,
I want to hear somebody as a reason for not giving that art like a 9 or a 10.
yeah, like it was beautiful, beautiful manga art, and I found myself like distracted by the art and not caring that it wasn't like a Western comic book with color and all of that.
Yeah, I usually forget that they're supposed to be in color when I'm reading the manga.
Yeah, this one really, really did that for me.
Hmm.
Like it really brought me into the world. So that means our final scores. I got 27 points this month, and Anna got 38 points this month, which I believe means I lose.
I do too. You want to spin?
Yeah, here we go. Oh, God, please, just no.
Oh my god, I'm so happy that wasn't me. Oh.
So be prepared for a video of polar opposites, fire and dice.
Which is great because, you don't mind the cold most times.
It's gonna be a little different.
Have to do it outside.
Yes.
Well, you could technically do it in your bathtub.
Yeah,
Your
I guess I
bathtub's
could do it
huge.
in the bathtub too. We'll do it in the driveway. Sound good?
It does, because it's chilly here. Although on the bright side for you, this week it's great.
Yeah, maybe we just get it over with tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be posting that within the next week before our next issue. Which brings us into, do we want to do what our books are for next month first, or do we want to talk about Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna?
I think we want to talk about Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna.
Okay.
Do you want to
No,
announce
no, no.
yours?
You're
It
right.
sounded
You're
like...
no. You're right. We should definitely do it your way. Because that does make more sense. Um, so for our topic of this week, we're talking about we're essentially choosing the main characters from our Marvel and DC book and pitting them against each other to see who might win in a battle.
Especially since this month ended up being perfect.
It really did. Magic versus magic. Chaos magic versus
Magic.
magic.
I mean...
Yeah. Um, which yeah, so let's get right down to it. Right off the bat, I have to say that I feel like Wanda has a little bit of an upper hand here. Just for the sheer just at the onset of this fight, I think she has a little bit of an upper hand just because she does not have to say anything to perform her magic.
I completely agree. I'm almost so like, damn, we both agree. Could have came up with like debate style.
So there is a point in it where I do think Zatanna would start figuring out ways around it, because we did see that she's very resourceful in a battle. where things are not going her way.
And we've seen her in a situation similar to, I mean, illusionary magic in the sense of the dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
So
She
was my
seems to
favorite
be
villain.
incredibly aware of what's going on around her. So I think the wiggly waggly mind voodoo shit.
You're talking WandaVision. We're talking House of M.
No, I
Get
know.
it together, Ben.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think that even in that kind of scenario that that a Scarlet Witch or Wanda would be able to hide it from Zatanna for forever. Yeah, I think it
So I
would
mean,
take
I think
time.
what it's more so comes down to between the two is like Wanda would win, but Zatanna wouldn't be out of the game so quick.
Yeah. It's kind of like when we were talking about Spider-Man and Nightwing. I was like, whichever one loses the first fight wins the next fight.
Yeah.
Because they're going to
That
go
was a
into
very
it.
civil conversation, given that we are both very passionate about each one of those characters.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us.
I am too. We didn't murder each other. But yeah, I think it would be an interesting battle.
It's just very interesting types of magic to
Mhm.
see. I mean, overall, totally wish Zatanna had her own TV or movie series, even though DC is with the live action. But she's a cool hero.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I do also agree. Like, there's not a whole lot for us to really say that much about a fight between them.
I will say that even in the comic for Zatanna, you do see her struggling in terms of like practicing her words and things like that. Whereas with the chaos magic, it's just I know it, bitches.
Essentially, yeah. Um, but again, she figures out ways around it
Yeah, she
pretty
does.
pretty. I won't say quickly, but she knows how to navigate her magic. I think again the prime example is when she was fighting against the guy with the sword that rewound time, and
Palindromes.
she had to start using palindromes to work her magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she could potentially come up with creative ways to get through it. I think she loses.
I think it would almost be like that battle against Zatanna and all of the wizard gear.
Uh huh.
The only reason she won that was because she reached her dad.
That's true.
So I mean, could you imagine
Yeah.
if her dad wasn't a factor? That would, I think, be
Oh.
similar powerhouse wise to Wanda in the DC universe
Yeah.
against Zatanna.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. And I mean, Zatanna's connection to all things astral as well. She might be able to pull some heartstrings on Wanda, just considering all the people Wanda has killed
Yeah.
throughout the course of Marvel history.
And I mean, in this one, you see so many, or you hear about three.
Hawkeye, Vision,
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, Thor?
Dead.
Thor's not dead?
No, Thor's not dead.
Thor dies in Civil War? Thor's dead at some point.
Yeah, but I don't think she killed him.
I don't remember how Thor died. Wow. Kill me.
I honestly wasn't a huge fan of Thor until the movies.
That's reasonable.
I didn't pay much attention to his character in Civil War.
Man, that's actually like a really good point though. Like her connection to
the astral plane.
Well, and just to the afterlife in general.
That would be
She speaks to dead people a lot.
Okay, that's really funny just because I'm watching Ghost Whisperer at the same time. So it's sorry, that I digress. But and I mean imagine though that as like a movie or a TV show or just like a short special, that would look so pretty, like creepy, but really pretty. With how Zatanna's the spirits were illustrated in the comic.
Oh, yeah.
And then bringing those into a playing field similar to the WandaVision movie style
Oh, man.
cinema. It would be gorgeous.
It would. It would be great. I would, oh, God. That'd be awesome.
All right, Ben, let's be millionaires.
Okay.
Do it.
Let's do it. But man, just that one fact that just like, I feel like if Zatanna would do that and use, the people from Wanda's past kind of against her,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Zatanna wins, actually.
Could she use Vision?
I don't see why not.
Because she contacts souls?
That's a good question. I don't know enough about Vision in the Marvel comic book universe to be able to have a really informed opinion on that.
Right.
Like in the cinematic universe, he's part Soulstone, part Wanda, part Jarvis.
Part Mind Stone.
Right, Mind Stone, not Soulstone. Soulstone is R.I.P. Black Widow.
So he has a mind.
He has a mind. And thanks for the 18 months subbing, Trapstar. But yeah, so I don't know much about Vision outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like what I know of Vision is
through Wanda.
Is through the Avengers movies.
Oh, and then in the comic verse, it's really just through what you know about his connection with Wanda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And even that, it's like in the comics that I've read, it's not heavily talked about.
I mean,
like it's mentioned and it's like it's there in the background, but it's not at the forefront. So I don't know a whole lot about it. I have an informed opinion on that. But I mean, she loves her team in the Avengers.
Yeah, no, and I mean, regardless if you want to argue that Vision would be in there or not, I think Vision would really just be the camel that broke everything really quick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, your argument for Zatanna winning, I think then it could come down to a Nightwing and Spider-Man thing where we're like, well, then what's the ratio of one winning over the other?
I think I give it to Zatanna.
Really?
65-35.
Really? I wouldn't agree. I would
maybe
say
60-40. Maybe 60-40.
I wouldn't agree. I would think that it's 70 in favor of Wanda, 30 in favor of Zatanna, because how many times can you really use spirits against Wanda?
You only have to do it once for her to break down.
Yeah, but if you're talking about multiple fights, like...
You have to lose the will to fight at some point.
Okay, well then there would only be 2 fights, then it'd be 50-50, Ben. You see? You broke your own logic. 50-50, because Wanda would then win the first fight. Zatanna would go and do her homework and be like, what the heck? And then come back. And then Wanda would break mentally all over again, and we'd have a House of M in the DC universe. And then Zatanna would be walking away like, oh no.
What's the no more in the DC universe? No more Batman Incorporated. There's so many Batman things. There's Batman, there's Batgirl, there's Batwoman, there's Nightwing, there's Robin, there's Robin.
Otherwise, you get Injustice, and I'm gonna just be, or Injustice, and you're just gonna be so mad. Anna was so mad. I think I called you crying.
But what is?
I did call you crying.
Yeah, you did. But what is the no more? Because there's not mutants in
the DC universe.
Yeah.
There's the metahumans. I mean, they're not really the main characters that you follow, so it could just be, ooh, no more lanterns.
Oh.
That would be terrible. That was like the issue that I was thinking about for I was between this one and the one that I actually picked with Earth 1. It's very much how it kind of sounded.
Oh, man. Okay.
You're welcome.
That's that's
That
that's
would be the No
that
More
would be
Mutants.
okay. Yeah, I dig it.
Thanks.
So we're kind of at an impasse for the most part. I think end of the day, Zatanna wins for you. End of the day, Wanda wins. But I think we both brought up decent
Because even
arguments
if
for it.
Zatanna wins with Wanda's power, not really good for her to lose either.
I mean, she could send her into hiding again, like at the end of House of M, instead of creating a whole new House of M.
Yeah. Or do that little mind woohoo. I don't know if Zatanna can do that. Never mind.
I don't know if Zatanna can do that either. So let's talk about our books for next month.
Dope. Makes you feel any better? I just slung myself and it didn't
It
feel
doesn't.
good. Okay.
It does not make me feel better.
I offered. Your first pick, because Marvel is what we read first.
Yep. Marvel's what we read first, and I decided we're reading something Star Wars because
Shocker.
I like Star Wars. And I wanted to try and pick something good. I haven't read through all of the Dr. Aphra stuff yet because I'm reading through the Darth Vader comics right now, which is where you first meet Dr. Aphra. So we're reading volume 1 of Dr. Aphra, the Marvel book. The other thing is I wanted to pick something that wasn't so heavily tied to the main characters of the Star Wars universe. Because something I've noticed about the Star Wars comics is that the art really isn't bad unless it's Luke, Han, and Leia.
Because then they're trying to make them look like
Because then it's like
actual existing people.
Yeah. And it's really unnerving. Because again, like Star Wars stories they're great. But it's like, and then I look at Luke's face and it's like, why does that one look so much more like a human than the others? Why are you trying to put so much more detail in this face than in everyone else's face?
They should go back to the original Star Wars comics for like the look of their character illustrations, because I liked the old Star Wars.
At some point in time, when there's the first arc is done, we'll read something High Republic, because what I've seen of that art looks amazing.
Okay.
But
throwback month at one point.
We should.
That would be do good. Like old comics.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I dig it. Like first decade of a hero.
Yeah, because I almost feel like guilty picking an older storyline because I'm like, I really just want to read it. And then you look at the art and you're like, well, you can't really judge the art the same way as you do.
No, but I feel like we're pretty good at being objective on that.
I take that.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, maybe we'll have a throwback month. Is there a month that begins with T? No.
January?
October? October? No. We're not making this happen. So that is my book. My first book.
Yep.
Dr. Aphra.
And then DC is my pick this month, and I wanted to pick a hero that I didn't think got enough attention.
He has his own television show. He shows up in Justice League movies.
Well, originally I was going to pick Martian Manhunter, and then I couldn't find his freaking comic that I wanted to read. So there's that. Anyway, so we're doing Green Arrow, but like the Green Arrow that's in the comics, not the Green Arrow that's on TV, Ben. So we're reading Green Arrow Quiver, which I'm really excited about because it also ties in with a little itty bitty bit. Not a little itty bitty bit, but a bit with Green Lantern, just in storyline, not necessarily in character appearances, which, yeah. And wait a minute, then would you consider Green Lantern less appreciated than Green Arrow?
I do.
I was also looking into whatever, I'm not changing it. So Green Arrow, Quiver is my DC pick.
That's fine.
Obviously, I'll keep my others that I researched on my list.
Well, yeah, the books that we don't pick are always still on the list. And then, it's your turn to do 2 books in a row.
Oh, okay. And then my independent is going to be Fathom, because I haven't read it before. The art sounded like everybody really liked the art, so I'm excited about that. Ben's just disappearing and walking in the background like a creeper. I don't really. Well, I don't have really anything. I haven't read it before. It's Fathom, an independent comic. Don't hit me. Hey, are you gonna wear your Halloween costume that I made you?
I could wear the Halloween costume for our Dr. Aphra go through. Oh, that'll be
I
fun.
forgot my witch hat.
Oh my God, Anna.
Sorry.
Lee is still sleeping.
Got my witch hat for Witch Hat Atelier.
You did. And Trap, she did hit me with her elastic earlier, and it did not feel good. That's payback.
You used to have me stand under the basketball hoop.
I know. God, good times. Simpler times.
Did that.
I know, I can't believe you did either. You're not very smart. So, Dr. Aphra, Green Arrow, Quiver,
Fathom.
And then for our manga, this is the first time I'm choosing a manga.
It is. It doesn't feel it, but it is.
It is. I had a really hard time choosing between it was like 4 different ones that I was like, do I want to read Ghost in the Shell? Do I want to read Lone Wolf and Cub?
Which I will say, that one visually is very misleading.
Yeah, we went to a comic book store 2 days ago, something like that. And we're looking at books and saw Lone Wolf and Cub, and that book is like
huge. It's like a
3
little
inches
baby
thick.
dictionary.
Yeah, it was thick with 3 C's. But at the end of the day, I chose Fairy Tale, Volume 1 for my manga. So
exciting.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this month is gonna go. Like last month, I was pretty confident.
Yeah.
A cool green screen effect. You have a green screen?
No, we don't. That's okay.
Very.
Green screened your sister next to me? Oh. Yeah, so I can make it look like I'm hitting her in the head.
Ow.
But I'm not, because she's not here. So, next week, be prepared with Marvel's Dr. Aphra Volume 1. After that, we'll be reading Green Arrow Quiver. We'll be reading Fathom the week after that. And then for our last book of the month, we'll be doing the manga Volume 1 of Fairy Tale.
I almost feel like I get so excited about the mangas because I know nothing about them going into them.
I know, and it kind of makes me feel bad that we're judging them, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. But I'm really excited because this has been, at the very least, a good way for you and I to make each other read comic books that we might not otherwise read.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm getting, especially while I'm here with you guys, I'm like, I want to read this and this and this comic.
Yeah.
So it is hard to judge off the first volume, but at the same time, like
Witch Hat Atelier was so good for the first volume.
It was so good.
And like I'm going to end up reading more of that one. I know I'm going to end up reading more of it. And for our manga episodes, we're really doing it as a is this one that we'd like to continue reading? Because I don't.
And I mean, you have to judge it. It's also kind of nice that we're judging it as new readers to manga because we're trying to get other people to read them. So, I mean, if you don't like the first volume, you wouldn't really read the next one. Anyway.
kind of my feeling on it as well. But I understand both sides of the argument. Sure.
Oh yeah, no, me too. And I feel very bad about judging them, especially like the Pokemon one. I was like, I don't. Is that the one you got at Disney?
Yes.
The one at. No,
What?
I lost my train of thought. Now it's all Disney.
So yeah, so catch us next week for Marvel's Dr. Aphra. Anna, where can people find you on the social medias?
On Instagram, I have 2 accounts: a personal, which is Anna_Riddick, and a professional art account that is A_Riddick_designs. So yeah.
Very good. And of course, you guys can always find me everywhere on the internet. It's BenPai, ITSBENPAI. Everywhere. Literally, like everything is it's BenPai. I got the MySpace, it's BenPai. I got the
Who uses MySpace?
I don't think anyone uses MySpace.
I was never allowed a MySpace.
That's okay. It was pretty awful. Tom's a good guy though. That Tom.
I just like that you could put music on your page.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and until next week.
Shalom-Aste.
Exactly. Shalom-Aste.
A great sign off.